Bonjour, je m'appelle Serena et bienvenue à ma chaîne. Hi, I'm Serena and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done like a sit down just talk video. The past like 3-4 of my videos have just been vlogs. So yeah, I just wanted to do a cute little talk video. I'm in my foyer. I moved out of the Airbnb on like the 8th. I think on like the 8th of January. And yeah, I've been here. This is like my first situation in my food. Oui baguette. Oui baguette. Purr. Anyways, so honestly, I don't know. I've been thinking about so much. Also, at the end of this video, I'm gonna do like a room tour. Since my first room tour video got deleted, you guys could have seen the Airbnb, how it really looked. So I'll do a room tour of my foyer. But yeah. But before we start, I'm gonna do a tasting, a peanut butter tasting, because I bought peanut butter here. The only place you can find peanut butter in France is if you go to like a bougie healthy store. So I went to a bougie healthy store. It's called Go Nuts, and it was made in Lyon, which is in south of France. And it, oh my god, let's taste it. I just had dinner. It's like, it's 7:31 p.m. over here, 19:31. But yeah, let's try it. Okay, it's really rich. First of all, for those who know me, I hate like Jiffy and Skippy. If I have no other option, I'll eat them, but I really don't like those. I'm like a Trader Joe's peanut butter girl because it's more natural. This kind of tastes like that, but it's more rich. Like it's more oily a little bit too. Like it's very rich and light at the same time. It's really good. Oh my god, this is so good. Also, for those who follow me on Twitter, I've been very fixated on oats lately. I just bought this bag of oats on Tuesday and it's almost done because I eat it so much. I just love oats. Like, I don't know, there's just something about them that just hit different. Like, I go to bed excited to eat breakfast, to eat my oats. This peanut butter oats together in my mouth. Tomorrow's breakfast gonna hit different. Anyways, yeah, those are my food fixations at the moment, apart from my daily love for bread. So my peanut butter. Oh my god. My peanut butter jams. It is so good, y'all. It's so yummy. It tastes so good. It really does. I'm done. I'm sorry. It's just really good. Anyways, so I just wanted, wow. I kind of just wanted to talk about life in Paris since I moved into the foyer, what I'm doing, what I've been thinking about. So I start classes on Monday, and this week and a little bit of last week was all about just getting my shit together. So like setting up a French phone number, getting a Navigo pass, which is basically a Metro card for the New Yorkers out there, paying off my phone bill so that I can actually remove my SIM card, like paying off my phone, because I couldn't remember my SIM card if I didn't pay my phone off, so I had to do that. So lots of just like adult stuff. But like when I first moved into the foyer after going to the Airbnb, I was really overwhelmed, and the reason why was because I realized like, oh shit, I'm an adult. And I already had that oh shit, I'm an adult moment, and like when I was living in New York over the summer and also in college a little bit, but it hit different here because it's like, not only are you an adult, you're in another country. Like, do you know what it feels like to have to sign up for Social Security? Like, that's weird. Like, you know, like you're, not only are you responsible, you're also responsible and liable for yourself in a completely different country where your government, where you're not necessarily covered. And yes, I'm grateful. I do have privilege. Of course, I'm American, so like I have that privilege, that EU-US agreement, at least for now. But yeah, so I'm definitely grateful for that. That makes that process easier, and also me being a student makes it easier too. But it still is like, oh shit, like there's no plan B, you know? Like I have to just sign up for all these things as an adult, one, and then two, in another country. So like, not only in another country, you also don't speak the language, and you're not a citizen. And it made me think about like immigrants to America and how much harder we make their lives for them. Like I really thought about it. I was like, I'm very grateful that France, even though they take forever with paperwork, they're very, I don't know, I feel like they're very clear about what they want from you. Again, I'm American, so I don't know if it's different for other people, but it's very clear about what they want from you, and the process as of right now seems very fluid, even though it's complicated. Whereas in America, I feel like there's so many barriers, especially for like Haitians and Mexicans. For those who don't know, most people who make up detention centers aren't even Mexican, they're Haitian immigrants. But yeah, like they just make their lives like 20 times harder. Granted, their situation is different than mine. I'm not escaping I'm not entering the country as a refugee. I'm entering the country as a student, so that comes with its own set of things that are nowhere near coming in as a refugee. But still, like I just think about how much harder America like intentionally makes life for immigrants. I was just like, damn. Like even trying to get a phone plan. I was trying to get a phone plan here, and in order to get one like on contract, like a contract plan, you have to have a French bank account. I was like, oh my god. Whereas in America, all you need is social security and a card, like you just to pay like a way that you're gonna pay. You don't need a bank. I've never heard of someone be like, what's your routing number? So I was like, okay. But then I found out you can actually get one without a bank card, without a bank account, if you don't get a contract. So yeah. But anyways, the other thing that I've been thinking a lot about is solitude. I know I've made a video before, which I'll link up here, about solitude, but this time feels different. And I kind of want to talk about the 3 phases and spaces I've been in when I've been alone and how different each of them felt. So the first like solitude experience I had was quarantine, which is in the video that I linked already. And I feel like during that time period, it was like solitude out of necessity, like, you know, pandemic, I'm in a state where I don't know anyone. It wasn't my choice. And it felt very much more imprisoning in a way because it wasn't my choice. And it kind of felt like I was given like, I was given a punishment. I had to be in solitude. I was given a punishment, and it was really hard for me to reckon with and deal with. One, not only because I hadn't done it for real, but two, also that added layer of I don't have a choice. So it was really hard for me to sit there and like, it kind of felt like a hard pill to swallow, like damn, I have to actually be alone for real. The second time I was alone for a long period of time was when I was living in New York. Even though I had roommates, the month of August, I pretty much stayed in my room almost every day. Not on some depression shit, but because I was literally exhausted. I was socially exhausted. I was so used to, like literally May, June, and July, it was like buzz, club, another club, another club, no sleep.
No sleep. Bus. Club. Another club. Another club. Another club. Plane. Next place. No sleep. Another club. Club. Another club. Another club.
And I just wanted like silence. So I stayed in my room literally every day. Like I was on Twitter and TikTok every day, just like vegging out, just like a potato. And I loved it. I just enjoyed it. Like I was just like, I'm just enjoying this time to myself. And I didn't even want to go out. Like my friends were like, want to go to this club, want to go do this. And I was like, I don't want to. And I've never felt that before, where I purposely chose to stay inside. Then I understood what the introverts were saying about time to reboot. Yeah, I was feeling that. So that was that. Then in college, I was alone, mainly one because my ancestors said to keep to myself, but two because I don't really fuck with people like that in my school, outside of a very close few people. And that felt more like work and grind. So it was like work and grind kind of solitude. So I was doing things like literally last semester, I don't know what the professors were on first semester back for in-person learning, like for real, but these professors were on crack. Because why is it that I had no break the entire semester? It was like there was no plateau. It was like the semester started, the midterms, then finals, like up here the whole time. Whereas normally it's like a gentle increase. You go down, then you go up for midterms, you go down a little bit, and then finals. No, it was like up here the whole time. So not only was I grinding, you know, so that kind of mixture of like, what does it look like to be alone when you have a lot of work to do? Whereas the first time it was like, what does it look like to be alone when you're forced? And then in New York, it was like, what does it look like to be alone when you're exhausted, you're socially exhausted? This time, now that I'm in Paris, feels so much more different. It kind of feels like the balance of all three of those things. So what does it look like to be alone in a sustainable way? And I have never felt this way like in my life. Like I'll go on walks, not all the time, but I will go on walks, and I just feel free. Like I just feel happy. I feel genuinely at peace. I feel tranquil. And one, I do feel like the city does help with that in general, just the energy of Paris, like it definitely helps with that. But two, I think my growth throughout those time periods of being alone has finally allowed me to enter this place. Because like Serena from a year ago would not have been able to feel this level of tranquility and peacefulness in being alone that I feel now. And like literally every day I wake up and it's me. Like I'm in a room by myself, like, and I'm happy with it. Like it doesn't feel like a punishment, it doesn't feel like a sentence. Like I'm like, oh, it's me, it's my best friend, twinning in them. That's how it feels. But it's me and me. And like, yeah, there's times where I do want to contact my friends and family, but the way that I felt like that before is very different from now. Before it felt like an urge, like I was like, I want to contact friends and family, and when they didn't respond, I was really upset. I'd be really frustrated. It felt like everyone was busy and didn't care about me. Whereas now it's like, I will say it has gotten worse in terms of people contacting me because I'm 6 time zones ahead of time, sometimes 9, depending on where my friends are, because some are in California, some are in New York, and you know, people have lives, are busy, and like that reaching out, I've noticed, has definitely gone down compared to when I was in America, which is ironic. I thought it was going to be the opposite. But in the beginning, I was a bit frustrated, but mainly because, less because I didn't want to be alone and more because it made me wonder, like, what does it look like to be taken for granted when you're living in the same time zone or city as other people compared to when you're far away. And I kind of thought, oh, when I'm far away, everyone will want to contact me because I'm not there anymore. When actually I got the opposite reaction and the opposite problem. Not a lot of people reaching out to me as much because of the time zones, which kind of like gave me a rude awakening. But also it reminded me that you're not alone as a form of proving other people wrong. So I feel like this time period of being alone has taught me what solitude means. You don't spend time in solitude because you want to punish your friends or family. And you're not supposed to spend solitude because it's a punishment. I feel like those are two big lessons that I learned, and I'll start with number 1. So oftentimes when we're kids, solitude is presented as a punishment. I noticed that, like, you know, time out. Timeout means you have to stare at the wall, and if you're like, I hate when, you know, when you're in timeout and there were other kids around you, that was like the worst shit ever. So if you're in timeout, there's other kids around you, it's teaching you that time alone is a negative thing. When you're in trouble, you go to timeout. You're now creating a negative association with that child that alone time is bad. That's why I love like these tools that parents and children are using now, where they do like this chill out corner, where they make like a corner really cute and they like put emotions and stuff, and when the kid is acting like crazy, you put them in the corner, you like go to the chill out corner, so it's a calming space for them to reflect rather than like a shady dark room that they have to stand in and face the wall. Like that's not really, it's not giving what y'all think is giving. I understand the vision of what timeout was supposed to be, but it wasn't giving what it's supposed to give, because then all the other kids are playing and are having fun, and you feel like, you know, time alone is bad or something. So in reference to me now, like as an adult, because I'm no longer a kid, I felt like alone time was a punishment. I thought it was a bad thing. So like it was being done to me, aka the pandemic, or all of my friends and family are busy, so now I have to be alone. So that's like kind of like that negative association with alone. So that was one lesson I had to overcome, like during the pandemic and the other times and instances I was alone. And then the second thing I realized is that alone time is also not a tool to hurt other people. So oftentimes when I get mad, I shut down and don't want to talk to other people for an extended period of time. Usually it's not even that long, like a day, maybe less. And on one end, it's healthy to be alone and not to blow up at other people, as long as you communicate that. But other times I would do this thing where I would get so mad that I would say to myself, okay, let me just be alone and have other people feel bad and contact me. That shit never works. It never works. You really think you ate that? Like, I want to tell Obi, you really think you ate that because you didn't? Because I really thought like, oh, you know, if I go off the grid for like 2 days, then everyone will want to contact me. And it's like, no babes, that's not how it works. You don't use solitude as a way to get other people to contact you. Like, it's just never, it's always gonna backfire every single time. You're not gonna get what you want, because alone time is a self-preservation, a self-restoration tactic. It's not a tactic to help hurt other loved ones to get attention. If you want attention, you need to ask for it. Not beg for it, but communicate and ask for it. And I feel like this time in Paris alone has taught me that. Now, I don't think not once have I spent alone time as a punishment or like experienced alone time as a form of punishment, or have I used my alone time as a way to get my friends and family to contact me. I've actually just been alone because 1, I've been enjoying it, and 2, I've just been focusing on the things I need to focus and put first, and 3, because I don't really have another choice. I don't have the choice to necessarily call my friends whenever I want to call them because of the time zone change, and I'm actually okay with that. Like, that urge to constantly need to be in contact with people is not there anymore. And I feel like even in my last vlog when I was talking about walking for those 2 hours and just hearing my thoughts, like, I've actually really come to enjoy that. I'm so used to talking to myself. And even when I was really social and had the opportunity to talk to multiple people, I've always been the kind of person who is constantly talking to themselves. I love talking to myself. So now it's like I really get to hear those thoughts to fruition. I think now the only thing I gotta work on is like vegging out on my phone. But honestly, I'm allowing myself to have that sloth time because last semester was just slavery, like literally slavery. So I'm just allowing myself to, like, you know, pick out whatever until Monday, because I'm about to start a whole semester in French. That's gonna be really hard. So I'm just allowing myself to vibe and be okay with that. Like, sometimes it's okay to just turn off your brain and throw away the key for like a couple weeks. And technically, I'm on vacation. I'm on winter break, technically, anyway. So, But yeah, I feel like a friend of mine gave me a reading and said, oh, when your parents are gonna be alone, and I immediately reacted negatively because I was thinking of all the negative associations that I had had with alone time. So if I've had all these negative associations, of course I'm gonna create a negative association with it. But this alone time, I don't know who was hiding this from me, because this shit is great. 10 out of 10 stars. I don't know why people were hiding this from me, because I would have jumped on this wave much earlier if I knew it could be like this. And I kind of equate this with adult alone time. Like, I start to understand why adults take so much time to preserve themselves and to just understand what it's like to be an adult and to be alone, to get your things together, to get your personal life in order, to get your financial life in order, to get your stuff together. Like, that requires alone time. Or even creatives need a lot of alone time to create. Like, how are you going to create if you're constantly talking to other people or constantly consuming other outlets of information? Like, you need that time to create, and the only time you can do that is in solitude. And I feel like that also goes into my YouTube channel. Like, I do want to be more active. Again, I'm not giving y'all no time schedule because I just can't do commitment like that. But I definitely do minimum once a month videos, like, at least, because I don't know, I feel like I have a lot to say, especially now that I'm traveling, and that I want to share. And I in my other video where I said why I'm here, why I deserve a platform, I love to talk, and I think this is a healthy way to share my lessons in my life, what I'm learning, all the things I'm going through. And yeah, so this is just like the most recent update, and I'm really proud of myself because it's been a long journey to get here. A long journey, literally years of self-development in order to be happy with being alone. And most people say, oh, they're alone because they don't want to hear their thoughts, their inner thoughts. That was never my problem. My problem, I'm fine with figuring out what's going on up here. For me, it was more just about the fear of like FOMO and more like parasocial relationships, more than it was about the like I'm afraid to confront myself thing. But yeah, I would like to give myself a pat on the back for nailing it, because it's been like 3-4 weeks and I have yet to come. Usually when in my solitude I get to a point where I like lose my mind. I haven't really done that. I haven't really. And the people that I have met like are so sweet. Like this is one girl, we were supposed to go to New York Fashion Week, but then we didn't because there was like a whole confusion thing with whether it was online or not. We don't really know, but she's really sweet, she's really cool. I will say this, white people here way less annoying than white Americans. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's because y'all don't believe y'all don't got a culture in America, when you definitely do, but you're too busy in black people's business to find your own culture, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, like white French people are less irritating, I will say. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying they're less racist, because they definitely are. I'm not saying that they're perfect, because they're definitely not. All I'm saying is they are less irritating. I'm leaving it at that. And all of the black people I met here, so sweet. Like when I went to the bank today, I was speaking to this woman, so sweet, so pretty. Every single black woman I've seen, gorgeous. Every single black person I've seen, very nice, very sweet, very pretty. Like I really appreciate that. Peanut butter bread. So good. And I know I've said this like 20,000 times, but I'm gonna say it again. The food quality here, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Like every time I eat food, I feel satiated and bien mangé, which basically means like you ate well. Like there's no word for too full in French. You just say bien mangé, which means you ate well, which I really like that culture of overeating is not a thing to the point where there's no word for full. Like, isn't that crazy? But anyway, or like too full in terms of food and eating. But yeah, like I'm always amazed by the food. I'm a foodie. I'm a Taurus rising, so I love food. Yeah, girl loves food. So yeah, the other lesson I think I've also learned a lot is not having my life. I've talked about this also, control. But when I tell you this time, I think I've really done a good job. For the first time in my life, I literally told Aoife, my ancestors, I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And I left it at that. I literally left it at that. Because I'm so used to planning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply for this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. Right now, I don't have a job. I know it's going to come to me. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be in America or here. I don't know. I just know it's coming. And I'm actually genuinely not worried about it. Like obviously we all have worries about money, and sometimes I do. I'm like, oh okay, I have this much left, but not to the degree that I was before. I genuinely just believe. Like it's crazy how belief alone can get you through it. Like that shit is crazy. So yeah, that was the other thing I've learned. So being alone and letting go. Being alone and letting go. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of in my sage era. It's giving Buddhist monk. Like that's how I feel internally and my spirit and my soul. I feel like I've actually let go of worry, for real. Like and actually mean it. Obviously I'm gonna have anxiety for the rest of my life, but I'm gonna take the W and say that I think I've arrived to a place where I feel much more comfortable in myself and much more comfortable in my ability to achieve. I'm not as worried about the how, the when, the why. I just know it's going to happen. So why worry? Look at all the things I've done. I even thought about like all the things I've done in 2021. I've done so many things. I was in the New York Times again. I worked for Broadway. I lived in New York in an apartment. I was able to leave Georgia. I traveled. Technically, I traveled to Paris during 2021. So I went to like 4 different places. During the time of 2021, I went on vacation, I worked. So if I could do all those things, if I could leave Georgia, then I'll be fine now. You know? I feel like it's so important that we need to look at our past to see how we've overcome things as a reminder that we can overcome what we're going through now, because our current selves are laughing at our old selves when we thought we were struggling, because we've overcome. So anytime we enter another blockade, we need to remind ourselves, oh, remember that time where I thought it was the end of the world and now I'm here? Just remind yourself of that time, because literally 3 weeks ago I was stressed about whether I would be able to enter Paris before my visa started, and now look where I am. Before that I was like, oh my god, I need to go to Paris, I need to go to Paris, I need to go to Paris. Look where I am now. Before that I was like, how am I gonna escape Georgia, how am I gonna escape Georgia, how am I gonna get to New York? And look what I did. So it's just like, at this point I feel like I've arrived to a place in my life where I have seen time and time and time again the things that have been provided for me. So why do I need to waste time worrying? Obviously I'm not talking about mental illness, like that's, I'm not saying, oh yeah, just don't worry, it will go away. Like I literally have anxiety, so I know what that's like. But I'm just saying, like, from a place of existential worry where you're going to bed like worried to the point where you can't even sleep, like I owe it to myself to believe that I can overcome, because I've overcome in my past. I owe that to myself, to believe in the E-ray means success, E-ray of my, I owe it to the E-ray of my future self and my future to believe that I will be okay in the present. Because the longer you worry about the how and the why, the longer the blessings will come. It's literally a test. It's a test of faith in yourself. I'm not even talking about spiritual faith. I'm just talking about faith in general. Faith in yourself, faith in your ability, faith in what you can accomplish, faith in your ability to manifest. That's a word that everybody loves now, manifest, but it's true in terms of you really need to believe that you can get there. Because if you don't have imagination, if you don't have creativity, if you don't have belief in yourself, then how can you have the vision to accomplish or even understand what your dreams are or what you want them to be? You can't have dreams without imagination, without hope, right? So yeah, you owe it to yourself to believe that you will arrive. Because once you arrive, then you're gonna find another place that you want to go to. So our dreams are always changing, and that's not a bad thing as long as we're appreciative of where we are now. Because again, like a couple years ago, a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, you were probably worrying about how you're gonna get to where you are now. So you owe it to your present self, your past self, and your future self to, one, be grateful for where you are today, and to believe that you'll arrive to the next step. That's the tea. That's the tea. That's the clocketry, but that's the tea. Anyways, I just want to say I'm very grateful for everything, for myself that I've gotten here, for y'all, for my YouTube channel, all 70, I think it's all 73 of you guys. Thank you for watching my videos. And yeah, I'm just gonna end with a cute little room tour. This is my setup right now because that was the only way I could show my camera. But anyways, these are my like dreams, aspirations, my sticker wall, note, my little shelf over here, my friends and family. I wanted to put more people, but these are the tax, whatever these are called, words, I don't remember. Whatever this is called that came with the room. So I need to buy more to put up the rest. My altar down here, got E-far in there. This is my cute little desk. This is the window. That's me. But yeah, my window's really cute. Pirates or whatever. This is my little fridge situation. I just went grocery shopping on my Tuesday. My bed. And my favorite part is that at first I thought it was weird and it reminded me of jail, but I have a sink in here. Isn't that so cool? I kind of love it for COVID purposes because you don't have to worry about like breathing and spitting around other people, so I actually really liked that. But yeah, and then this is my closet. I could only bring like 6 pair of shoes. I was so sad. Yeah. These are my scarves and stuff, some clothes, more clothes, oops, more clothes, kitchen stuff. I had to buy kitchen stuff, it was so annoying, but yeah, kitchen stuff, and then my dirty laundry. But yeah, that's the room, that's the stuff. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Bye.